stuff in the picture. Oh yeah, let's go over this side. How about that? For those of you who are joining us for the first and possibly the last time, I'm Simon, Monica's behind the camera, and we are painting in France. We are situated here in the Languedoc-Roussillon, or Occitanie, and we run painting holidays and painting workshops and increasingly Zoom lessons, which I'll talk to you about more later on this evening. But now we're going to go off to, we've been doing a kind of Mediterranean tour, and we've been through the Greek islands, we've been to Italy, and now we've gone across to the Costa Brava. This is a little resort we know called Caella de Palafrugell. It was a secret hideaway, but no longer. So what we're going to do, I'm going to come around here and we'll get this painting straight away.
Your face gets really big every time you come
well,
a few people watching. Corinne,
yes,
hi Corinne, and Scott Gibbons is watching, and
good. So it's almost global already, but we're down to 4 people instead of 4,000, which was happening past week. But first of all, I'd like to say a special thank you for those of you who took part in last week's painting challenge. This was the Amalfi Coast. If you go on to the Painting in France page, which is presumably where you are now, if you look down a few posts, you will see paintings that went into the gallery on Monday. There will be one more nostalgic visit to the gallery, online gallery, next Monday, with hopefully somebody who will have, perhaps it's just one picture, mine, of this.
well, no, we'll have the super speedy version from Martin again. He's just joined us.
I better get going because otherwise
And,
he'll finish before me.
But I do also want to say, Martin and Jan were meant to be on holiday with us here this week.
Oh my God, they were, weren't they?
So so we're feeling a little nostalgic, unfortunately.
Yes, we've been lounging around various interesting locations, out for dinner, chic picnics. Oh, soon.
Margot from Spain has joined us.
I think we've all been relocated. Now, how are we doing? I'm going to start with shock horror, not the sky, but I'm going to do a bit of Naples yellow. I'm just trying to throw Martin off the truck, actually. He will have mixed up some sky blue.
What is this like the final? Is this like the Olympic final, Simon?
Fine, yes. What we've got here, we've got this lovely kind of scene. Perhaps my camera person will have to zoom in. Little snapshot of boat. It looks quite complicated, but if you look carefully on my picture, I have actually missed a few of the boats out because that's quite a lot of boats to try and do in the next hour. Here's one I did earlier. Which is like print off, which is gives you an idea of what we're going to try and do. So I think this week it's going to be about loose style. We've got, let's have a go. I've got a big brush full of Naples yellow. I'm just going to literally put that on most things except for the building and the boat. So let's just, I'm going to just quickly
Hi David.
Put that in there. There have been some complaints about the quality of the sound, but ladies and gentlemen, we have tried our best. We've ordered all the right equipment, but alas, it still hasn't come through. Despite constantly emailing to the company who supply these cables to improve your sound, it's just not been coming through. I guess it's that pandemic that's causing the problem, isn't it? Right, I'm going to go round, leaving some of these buildings white. These are the kind of sort of cliff colours. Let's see how quickly we can do this. Cliffs there, that's good. And I'm going to go, down here, look.
You're going for the 55-minute challenge.
We're not 5 minutes off our record, yes. I'm going to carry on with this Naples yellow. I did wet the paper a little bit to start with. And I'm going to go round the boats. And just across there, look. Maybe put this kind of basic colour on the rocks, leaving the boats white because they will kind of help. That would help them stand out. And perhaps let's have a little bit of yellow ochre in that mix as well. So I'm just going to come in down around these boats.
Did you wet your paper at all before this?
Funny if I did wet the paper. I don't always do it, but sometimes if you've got a little bit more time and you're putting a big wash on, it does help to just help the colours kind of blend a little bit.
But this was about 10 minutes ago, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. Then it was it's probably already dry, actually, to be honest.
We've had a hello from Sarah Leakey.
Hi, Sarah Leakey. Hi, yes. How are you? You should be one of our Zoomers this week. Looking forward to that again. Here we are. So I'm just kind of putting There we go. Let's have a little bit of, just a touch of Payne's grey in there. As you see, I'm not going up to the edge of the picture. I thought I'd just keep it a little bit more casual. I said in an attempt to do it quicker than Martin, but he may already be just.
I think he's already.
He's just about to post it over. Anyway, here we go. That's going to look a bit murky.
Oh, you really are going for the world record today.
Yeah. I'm going to. Oh, I'll put a little bit too much water on there. There we are. Okay. This is quite similar layout to that first one we did, wasn't it? With the
one in Culier.
Culier, yes, which is where we are hoping to be going
next weekend.
Next weekend. So, all being well, there'll be some witty and amusing video recording and painting demonstrations. And tell me a little bit about the.
Well, I want to try and go and visit her because Culier is particularly known for its anchovy preservation or production. So we wanted to try to an atelier, an anchoise atelier, to go and see how they actually produce anchovies.
Yeah.
And preserve them. Preserve, isn't it?
Preserve it, yes. Okay, so I've got a kind of base colour everywhere. A little bit of yellow ochre into the Naples yellow. It's quite a complicated scene, and I know people who've sobbed into their drawing boards when I've mentioned let's do some boats today at a workshop. But if you take your time and work them up carefully, they do come together. You just have to kind of get the shape in the right place, and we've obviously got quite loose backgrounds.
Might I make a comment?
Yes, darling.
They look almost as though you might have done them on a light bulb.
Me tracing the photograph off? No, look how large that is compared with how small that is. No, I cheated. No, what I've done, I've used a professional shortcut, and that was I took the photograph. Put some effectively paper on top of that, put it on the light box so that the image shines through onto the paper. I traced the outline, and then scanned that in. Digitally retouched a few boats out. It's getting more complicated, but you could have just drawn it. So you just choose the boats you want to keep in, and then I put it on the photocopy and blew it up a little bit.
Cheat.
No,
so now you're going. Now you're going for the Olympic record, and you've cheated.
Oh well, no, yeah. Don't worry, but it's a professional shortcut. That's all. Okay, now we're looking at the sky. I'm going to mix my favourite cerulean blue with a little Pthalo blue. That nice.
It were too.
Mediterranean.
So cerulean, your typical colour.
And this Pthalo blue gives that lovely sort of.
We were talking about doing possibly one last live, or maybe we'll do it as a recording.
Oh, yes, that's true.
With me doing a painting.
That's right. Yeah.
Because I'm of course convinced now, after shooting all of the stuff for how many weeks on end, that it's just all going to come together. It's all going
to come together. Yeah, I think it's worth a try. Let's see. Let's have a hand count.
Yeah. Who wants to see me making a fool of myself?
76 have voted for it. So there we are. Actually, that's interesting. I normally start with the sky.
You do, yes.
And I'm going to just put a few of these signature clouds in there. A little bit of sweep of kind of summer clouds. There we go. And then while I'm going to use a slightly smaller brush. No, I'm not. I'm going to stay on a big brush. Let's go slightly more intense now. This is a little bit more of that Pthalo blue, and I'm going to wash in the sea. And this is probably a bit too big. I'm going to go a slightly smaller brush. This is a size 10.
Exactly the same blue, or have you put a little bit more?
I've just put a little bit more blue in. And what I'm going to do, actually, if you look at the picture, I've actually chopped it off a little bit. The picture goes off the edge of the picture, the peninsula here. But I kind of liked seeing a little bit of. It looks more of a nice story. If you can see around the corner, it looks like it's a more interesting image, I think. Anyway, okay, I'm going to just put that quite nicely in there. We're going to drop some boats in there a bit later on. I'm just going to go carefully around the rocks. All being well, they'll be dry and it won't all bleed together. I think we're okay. I think we're going to get away with it.
Shelley and I don't know if it's a granddaughter. Charlotte has joined us. They're
Excellent.
watching us from California.
California, wow! Once more, and yet again, it's a worldwide production. And here we are. We're in France. The painting's in Spain, and people from California watching us paint. That's great. So I'm literally just putting a little bit of a. Let's leave it like that. I might just, while it's still wet, I'll just have a little bit slightly darker, just sort of in there. It's quite nice because actually there's a few reflections. And with a damp brush, I might just sort of hint that there's a few. There we are. I've kind of dusting in a few verticals. There we are. That'll be fine. That will all blend in. Now I'm going to put some little boats in there. I'm tempted to go even darker than that. What have I done in this previous painting? No, I've left it as it was. Let's have a little bit more, just some sort of clean damp brush. I'm just sort of wiping a little bit, just to give it a bit of shape there. That's quite nice, isn't it?
It is.
And now, already, only minutes into the production, we're on to some Sap Green. I'm going to put some kind of wash over here, which hopefully won't bleed upwards into the sky. There we are. This is those kind of trees and bushes and planting on there, on top of the hills. And what you want to do is just miss a few little, white squares out here and there, because that's going to be your buildings. So just hinting at those. I'm putting this in. It's funny. I'm just doing this quite quickly. But sometimes, ladies and gentlemen, it is good to paint quickly, and you don't get too precious about the details, because quite often people do get a little bit.
Including yourself.
Oh, what? I get a bit intense. Well, yeah, sometimes you can get a little bit too detailed, especially with. We're trying to suggest hotels and little villas on the headland here, and you can. I have seen it, and perhaps I do it as well, darling. You're right. You get a little bit bogged down with the windows and the roof and then the door handles and then but no, actually this brush is probably a little bit small. If you use a larger brush, you really are then committed to doing larger brush strokes.
Mac and Linda have joined us from Suffolk.
A
cold and wet Suffolk, and Shelley Gorman says her granddaughter is almost 3 and says Simon is a really good artist.
Oh, thank you very much. That's very good. I shall put that on my on our website as a testimonial. Perfect. So there we go. I'm just actually, while that's any more green anywhere, there's a little bit of boat green, and perhaps I could put a green boat in.
You could add a bit of.
Why not? I'm going to have that one as a bit of a green one. Let's put some green in there. This is like paint by numbers. Just.
So I've actually been doing a bit of research. So these are the traditional old. Oh no, they're not. But they're a lot like the ones you get in Couleur as well.
Yeah.
They're called a barque and a barque de Catalan.
A barque de Catalan.
Yeah.
And were they particularly?
Well, they were the local fishing boats.
They were. Did they still fish for the anchovies with these kind of boats, or?
Yep.
Or not? They do.
Well, they don't really. Unfortunately, it seems like most of the anchovies that are brought over for preservation and processing actually
come from somewhere else.
Unfortunately, don't come from the Med any longer.
This is the modern world. Didn't you say there were like hundreds of these kind of little workshops?
Yeah.
In this day?
There are now 2 left.
There's only 2 left. Wow.
In Couleur.
Yeah.
But the whole industry used to employ over 2,000 people just in Couleur alone.
In 2,000 people?
Yeah.
Cool. Well, the idea is that, ladies and gentlemen, is that we're going to go and try and do a painting down there, and also, like Rick Stein's TV programs, we're going to try and do some interviews and chats, and put a little bit of, who knows, beginning of a series together, wouldn't it? Mixing painting and cooking, who knows? Who knows?
Hi, Sandy.
Sandy's there. Hi, yeah.
Sandy's joined us.
Brilliant. I'm just what I've done, just to recap, for those people who've just sort of drifted over after lunch or whatever, I've put well, obviously the drawing first based on this picture. I've put a base of Naples yellow with a little bit of yellow ochre in here and there, just to kind of give the sandy base, the rocks and so on. I've left the houses white and the boats white, and now I'm putting in some greens, some light green and dark green, sap green and hooker's green, just to get that sort of nice Mediterranean hillside going on there. Just to bear in mind, it's another beautiful sunny day out there, so we want plenty of light and shade. I'm just occasionally referring back to my reference photograph, but not enough. But there we are. That's quite nice.
Well, it's an impression, isn't it?
It's
rather
an impression.
than
We're talking
a study of Parafugal.
Indeed, yes.
Kalelia.
Yeah.
Kalelia Parafugal.
So I don't want to really. I should be doing the rocks now, but I don't want to have the green running down there. I could perhaps put some boat colour. Well, I'll put some boat colour in. I can't remember whether I put the shadows in first and then the colour on top, or whether you put the colour on first. Let's try. I shall risk my own painting, and I'm going to try. Let's have a look. Let's have some. Maybe this one. That's quite a nice colour, isn't it? This one is a bit of a kind of alizarin crimson sort of colour. I'm just going to literally give it a flat wash over there, and maybe a little bit of cadmium red, or we'll run out of cadmium red. Let's have a little red. Let's have a little red one at the back.
Sorry, excuse me, I'm just getting a.
I'm hoping that by just dropping this in, it'll all be drying quite nicely. Then we can just have a magical wash, putting all the shadows in one go. Let's see if that works. It could end in tears. It could just be all the colours blending together into a rather muddy mess. But don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, I'm taking the risks. Unless you're painting along, in which case, good luck. Let's have
in which case, do exactly the opposite of what Simon's telling you to do.
Do the opposite. So, but let's try this. I'm going to try a little bit of.
You're putting the blue in?
I'm going to go for the blue, and that's a big sweep of blue. It's actually not too clear. Okay, that's sort of down there. That's it like that. That's quite nice. And I'm just going to, with a clean damp brush, I'm just going to run the damp brush. This will be a bonus point for anyone who just gets a little bit of reflection back from the beach, which I haven't quite got. Let me just get that. It's a really beautiful part of the world here. And
it's gorgeous.
We perhaps shouldn't tell too many people about it, because it is quite a nice place for us to go. It's about, what, 2 hours?
2.5 hours from here.
Just over the Spanish border, over the Pyrenees, and you drop down to the coast. And the nice thing is, because of the way the mountains or the hills, it's restricted geographically, isn't it?
Yeah, they can't
really build too much actually here, because it climbs up quite steeply. The new town, as you can see, is at the back, but the old town is really very pretty. Lovely little restaurants.
Yeah.
On the quayside, aren't there?
Hi, Nikki.
Hi, Nikki's here. Hi.
Nikki from Alderney.
Oh, great! Yeah. How's everybody's lockdown, by the way? Ours is much lighter now, isn't it? We can travel further, can we not?
Our restaurants are open.
Restaurants are open, yes.
Which happened a couple of weeks ago, or last week. The restaurants are open. We are now allowed to travel beyond 100 kilometres if you live in a green zone.
Yeah.
And the borders to Spain are opening at the end of the month, and certain holiday resorts and stuff are opening on the 15th, which is one of the reasons why we're looking at going away next weekend. No, we're just going in. We're going in France next weekend.
In France, oh yes. Just to recap, I'm just staying with this Pthalo blue. Everything blue is kind of Pthalo blue, and I'm just going to wipe out a few little highlights here and there because it's gone on a bit dark. Normally I would have a leisurely few hours painting this picture, but because we are professionals and celebrities globally, we're just going to quickly whip this together.
Oh, so you're actually putting the plastic cover on?
I thought I'd put the plastic cover on, yeah. I quite like the blue. Well, mainly because I've done it on this one. Let me just quickly dry those.
Fiona has joined us and she said she's glad not to have an enormous sky to master.
Oh, good. Okay, yeah. That's just, you can keep it quite simple. Just a wash of something sky blue like, with a few clouds wiped in. And I'm just drying these trees off. Otherwise, they may run down the whole picture. It's not a great look.
As per usual, Millie is sitting close, as she does at this time of the evening, because she is waiting for her dinner.
Yeah, your vocabulary you use.
Yes. She doesn't get the concept that we're busy doing something that she can't be a part of.
I am going to, I've got a little bit of Payne's grey. I want to put some sort of shadows in the rocks, so I'm just kind of doing a watery. Here's oh, there we go. Just going to show a little bit of scrap paper. It's always good just to try a few colours out. That looks quite good. I've got a kind of Payne's grey and.
So this is kind of your beach colour that you've added a bit of Payne's grey to.
Exactly, yeah. This is it. So what I'm going to run a few little pieces down here a little bit. Oh, they're kind of blending in, but it kind of works okay. This is like, just see what I mean? I'm just hinting at the cliffs over here. Just putting a few kind of verticals in. The greenery is actually running down with it, but in a way that's okay, because I think there probably would be some, just a little bit of greenery here and there. Let's have a look. Occasionally some slightly wider ones, keeping it sort of simple. How's that look, Danny? All right? Can I carry on?
You may carry on, Simon.
Okay, good. There we are, a bit of that. And like I said, it's a slight oversimplification. I'm just mixing the one colour. Maybe a look at that there. But it is quite good. Like I said, it is quite good to just perhaps every now and again just work out something quite quickly. Even if you work it small. I mean, I think the original painting here was only about that big. So it is quite nice just to do a little sketch with a big brush. Just keep it.
Was that the one you did on the beach that day?
It's not actually. No. We did. I did do a painting. I think it was one of my first attempts at a video where we were down there, and it wasn't. I don't think it worked out very well. It wasn't a very good painting, or it wasn't. We tried to rig it up on the tripod. I think we had a tripod and everything, rather than wandering around with the camera, which gives you a little bit more flexibility, doesn't it? So I'm just going to put a touch more grey in there. There's a few like, oops, what's that? If you put a
is that little wall?
This is the kind of wall there, yeah. And there's a few little stones and stuff here. I'm just trying to separate that from the beach. Maybe there's a little bit of.
But then.
Decking here, look, isn't there? Slightly browner, a little bit of burnt umber or something there. There we go, that's right. And then I think oh, that's the blue across there, isn't it? I forgot. That's the canopy. Oh yeah, some rocks here. So with this kind of grey mix, I'm going to put a few little bits stronger. I'm going to put some. Yeah, this is sort of rocky. We have people asking, how do you do rocks? And it's kind of like, well, start with that one colour, and then you can just sort of break it up into sort of sections like that. Bear in mind where the sun's coming from. Not too bad. It's almost a little bit. I'll try a little bit of burnt umber with the grey. You want to leave some of the original rock shining through, so that's quite good, isn't it?
Yeah. Looks like a rock to me, darling.
That's a result then. There we are. I'm just going to put this in my drawing. This is kind of the canopy for the boat at the back. So that's going to be going over there. We've got another bit of blue here. That's just the engine cover, I think. Leave that like that. Yeah, there's a little stripy one there. Maybe I'll make that one a red one. At this rate, I'll be going home early. I think I might just beat Martin. He's leaning back, and he's leaning back already.
Haven't you seen the email?
Yeah,
the emails come through.
The emails come through already, yeah, with a smug little note with a whole crowd of people on the beach and people throwing frisbees and all that kind of thing. But so that's the da-da-da-da. I think we're almost in time for some chat. I think I'm going to add a little bit more. This kind of sand colour, but a little bit of grey mixed in.
It's kind of pebbly in the front, isn't it? There's like a hard stand.
Cobbled area. Yeah, I guess it's sand at the back, and then where they pulled the boats up, they needed something a bit harder. So I'm just going to randomly put a few Payne's grey and
brown.
And brown, yeah. Let's just break that up a little bit. I'm going to just smudge that in a bit. There we are. It's just this sort of area there. Don't want them too regular. The thing is, mix them up. Don't make them too regular. There's a few, especially forward. Yawning already.
I know. I'm falling asleep here.
Oh dear me. I'm trying to be more entertaining. Okay, this is it. Then we're going. Where's the shadow? Where's that big shadow? Don't worry, it's coming soon. But I want to just hint at some of these little. I've almost got the brush on its side, you see, just to give that sort of variety. If you think back to that first quayside we did, that's the sort of shape we were doing. And it just
it's about 2 months ago, isn't it?
I think it was, yeah. It must be 8 or 9 of these we've done, I think. So it's been great. Everyone's been commenting and going to the Facebook page and looking at things. And
we've kind of made new friends, haven't we?
We've made new friends, indeed, yes, we have. Around the world, which is great. You know, I mean, I think there's a lot of things going on online now, and it is great to meet people like this. There we are. That's got I think that's kind of got the textual thing going on. We'll put some shadows in the building eventually. This one could be a bit brighter, couldn't it? Maybe do a little bit of a slightly. Let's have a yellow one here.
That one was a little on the yellower side, wasn't it?
Yeah,
that's quite yellow.
This is very yellow.
Oh,
it's
like
since that photograph was taken, they've had some work
they've repainted it, have they?
And they thought it wasn't quite yellow enough.
I don't think I've seen a yellow house in Spain before.
You wait and see. Next time we go down there.
That's almost as yellow as Pam and Graham's house, darling.
Don't worry. Okay, I'll wipe it off a little bit. It'll fade in the Mediterranean sun. Now, I think we can't go far with literally some big shadow colour. So I'm going to get a big brush.
Is this the moment of reckoning?
It is. Like I said, we could suddenly. Have you got that button which kind of just sort of cuts everything out?
I'll
goes to a little white dot in the screen.
I'll just run from the room.
Run from the room, okay, yeah.
Taking the camera with me.
And
Millie's ready to run as well. Hey, Moo.
She don't start.
Millie, you ready to run?
No.
Hey, you ready to run?
I'm going to put a little bit, slightly.
So, what have you done with your shadow colour? Talk us through it.
I've gone for the trusty Payne's grey with a hint of magenta. I'm just going to put that in there. I think it could be a bit more. Let's go mad this week. Let's put a bit more in. And what I'm going to do, that's quite strong, isn't it?
Can you please test it? Please don't just
yes.
go.
Okay.
You're being kind of almost. What do you?
Reckless.
Almost, no? Yeah.
Okay. Well, look, this will work for the. Actually, it's interesting because the painting I've been a bit more genteel in it. In fact, it's bluey. I kind of like the blue really. Oh, let's go a bit more blue in there. Oops. Oh dear.
Do you know? I might just have to take that away from you today.
Don't be darling. Next time you'll be doing it, and I'll be looking over your shoulder and making cryptic comments. What I'm going to do is
but you're meant to tell me what to do next time.
I've got a kind of grey mix with a little bit of magenta, a little bit of blue in it. So it's got a kind of can you see that?
Above you, yeah.
There we are, a little bit of that. This may work. And this will work quite nicely for the big shadow, which I think we've got these. If you look, there's some very. No, I see it's not strong enough. I'm going to put these in. What we've got, because it's such a bright sunny day, that shadow is really quite strong. So that isn't. I'm going to make it stronger.
I think you also took this. You took these photos. You went out quite early one morning.
Yes, I think you're right.
And
it's a lovely area because like I said, you get a few early swimmers on the beach, some younger families, and.
Well, especially when we go down before the height of the season, it's really lovely in sort of
the
May,
best time to
June,
go,
isn't
yeah.
it? Yeah.
Don't tell anyone though, otherwise it'll be packed out. Best time to go, July. July, get down there, July and August. Beautiful. Yeah. Okay, look at this. That's now covered everything. I'm trying to just.
You've still got hints of colour coming through.
Yeah, I'm going to put a bit of. Ideally, it's slightly softer. I'm going to have a little step in there, just sort of like that. Just to kind of emphasise that there's, that's the doodah. And what I might do is just with a damp brush, I'll just wipe that off there, just to make it a little bit softer. Now, I could just carry on. I think I'm going to have to. I'm going to just carry on with a slightly smaller brush, the same mix of paint. Let's go right back over here. We've got there's a bit of a boat there, bit of a shadow there. Look, that's quite good, isn't it? So let's start at the back of here. We've got a few people sat down. Let's come there.
Let me get in above you. Here we go. Something magically we can see behind.
Okay, good.
Your hand.
I'm just going to put this nice little mix. It has just got to have not too watery. It's got to be just right, because you want it. If you look, the actual shadow on the beach is really quite sharp and dark. I guess what I'm saying, I think if you can always go in again a little bit stronger. That's the front of there, and I'm just going to add a little bit of water and actually put some shadow under there like that. There we go. And then just wipe it up the bottom there a little bit. And that's sort of looking okay, isn't it?
Gobsmacked.
What's the problem?
No, just.
Let's have another. Because you see, these, they just catch. And, oh. That's what I wanted to do.
Really?
Yeah, that's just what
You sure? Sorry, excuse my cackle.
There we are, don't worry. Everything is under control. These boats have got that, they're just very, if you look at them here, the boat has a little bit of shadow at the front and it kind of fades out, a little bit of shadow and fades out. And that really does make it or break it. So I'm going to try making it. Oh, look at that, it's right in there. But if I just try and do that kind of thing, that's okay. There we are, just sort of a little bit. Now the big thing is here. I'm going to have a go with a bigger brush. I may have to retouch some of these colours. Let's go, let's have a little bit. You've got that colour there, and then it kind of comes that way. And it's kind of like there, isn't it?
It is.
I'm just going to flick it under there. Oh, try that.
Do you know, Simon?
Just a flick.
You'd almost swear that you did this for a living.
Oh, God, I do swear a lot actually, but
No, you don't.
there we are. That's a little bit of that.
Shadows painted in a Eric. It's a mixture of Payne's grey and some blue and some magenta, isn't it?
I literally just used the kind of the sky blue in there. There's a little bit of a Pthalo blue, Payne's grey, a hint of magenta, and then just trying out on the scrap piece of paper just to see how it all works out. And then it's kind of that mixture, but in varying strengths. Like here it's stronger, here's a bit lighter. There's a little bit of kind of shadow going on
Underneath there as well.
down there. Let's try that. kind of thing. What have we got in the original, the original painting? Actually, it's quite nice. There's a little boat down there. I might come back to that and make that a little bit stronger at some point. But I think that's okay for now. I think
I quite like the way you've got that. You've got a sort of little variance in colour
Oh yes, okay.
on along that edge, and it just
Yeah.
kind of gives it a little
Okay, chef.
definition.
So I'll put a little bit of So it's like basically just running something down that edge. Oh, nearly. Look what I've done there. Don't worry, it will blend. I'm just taking it across there a little bit. So it just stands out. This is what you're saying.
Oh.
That can go across there. Yeah, the good thing about watercolour, it does lighten up, ladies and gentlemen. It will sort of fade away, and we can retouch some things in here. What I'm going to do is up here. I'm just going to put a few little shadows in into the buildings, and some roofs. There's lots going on up here really, but I'm just want to give it a little bit of definition like that. This has actually got a shadow on it.
Maria Jory is watching.
Oh, Maria, hey, how are you?
Maria's from Vienna, isn't it? No, that's your person
we
in...
met in India.
Yes,
Met in India now, oh yes.
on your bike trip.
Back in 2000 or something, 2005. So yeah, I'm just putting a few little touches in, just to recap for people who just joined. Pencil drawing, which is lost, and did the pencil drawing, and then I've just washed in this Naples yellow colour in the background first, then the sky, Pthalo blue with Cerulean blue, a slightly stronger blue for the sea. While I had blue in a brush, put some blue in the boats. Then we went in for some shadows on the rocks, and then slightly, as that's dried, mixed up a slightly stronger shadow for the main kind of cast shadows here.
And you've added green as well.
Oh, the green. How can I forget the Sap Green?
You'll
The
trust
Sap
yourself.
Green and the Ochre green there, just to give that kind of a sunlit woodland above the bay there. That's kind of drying quite nice. I think I might just, what I'm trying to do is just put a few, pretend, some texture, just something going across here. Look, you can imagine there's another boat just out of the picture. I'm just going to put something in there. That's it. Just sort of, it's often quite nice having something coming in from the other thing. A little one here, look. Just try that. That kind of hints like, oh, maybe there's another boat here. That's all right, that'll dry in. So I think that's got the main shapes in, and all I do really is a little flick of
Just
burnt sienna for some roofs. If you look, I mean, they really are pretty similar all the way through, aren't they? I'm just going to put...
Yeah. Like all the roofs in the Mediterranean region, they all tend to be this terracotta colour.
Yes, we love it, love it. So I haven't got to be too specific there, because I think as a distance, it kind of looks like a bit of some sort of villas in amongst the trees, isn't it?
Yeah.
What I think I'm going to do now, well, I'm going to come back a little bit more on the boat, but what I will do is add some white gouache. I'm going to...
White gouache, she says.
White gouache, yes, white gouache. A slightly smaller brush. Freshly washed. And mix that almost pretty solid actually. Probably. And I'm going to flick it. That could have gone a bit darker. The sea could have gone a bit darker, but we could be here for a few more hours if I did paint that again blue. So I've got a very just strong, literally pretty solid white. If you look at these, darling, there we are. I've got a little bit of a...
reflections and little pretty waves.
Little boats.
Oh, are they
boats?
boats?
These are
Oh.
boats, can't tell. No.
Yeah, no, they're boats,
then,
darling.
They're boats. And look, if you like, it's quite good because they had these sort of, where they kind of launch the boats
Yes.
out from the quayside. I'm just putting in films.
Well, during the busy season, they have a launch that goes out and picks people up, don't
That's
they?
right, yeah. Oh, you mean they drop the boats off and they come in for
Well, the big
a bit of
yachts,
lunch?
the yachts moor further out in the bay,
Yeah.
and then they obviously radio in to say that they need to lift in. And remember, and then the young hunky guys,
Young hunky guys.
with they all jump into a rubber duck and then go and fetch people.
Oh,
Remember?
that's true, yes, I do. I couldn't take my eyes off them.
Really?
Okay, that's quite nice. I'm just going to a little bit of white on the top of there. A little flick. That's enough.
You're almost done, aren't
We're
you?
almost done. I think we really will be going home early. It's almost like Saturday kitchen, where they try and do something as quickly as they can. I haven't even got one I made earlier. That's right. I mean, there's a few little figures. I'm going to have just a little bit of, let's have some red in there, just some sort of bright colours.
You hinting at a few people on the beach.
Shock horror. I'm actually going to put a few people in there. Although we had a few on the Greek island, didn't we? Where was
You
it?
did.
Catalonia. Let's actually, while I've got the white, I think I'll just have a hint of a kind of white t-shirt here. Perhaps there's going to be a little bit more of a. You can do lots with white. I do like you've just got a bit of white there, and you just can add a little bit of a few little highlights here and there. Well, let's have something down here. Look on that wood, maybe on the edge of there, and it just kind of lifts it out. There's that. That's sort of faded back. And I think what I'll do, I'll just dry that off. I think I've spent a lot less time on this one than this one here, but I'm just going to dry that off. And I think in many ways the shadow is too strong on the photograph. Can you wait, darling? Paying attention?
Yeah.
Good. I'm just drying this off, and then. That's it. And then I think it's just going to be a case of what we've got. We've got like a few sort of K, but I'm not going to do any of the lettering. I'm just going to put some. We've got a few little stones, panels here. Look, maybe that can have a little bit more of a. I don't want to kind of draw around everything, but what works quite nicely is if you take these stones through the shadow area. Do you see what I mean?
Yes.
So it goes over the shadow, which just makes the shadow look like it's working. Like that. Just got like a little.
Are you going to draw the number in?
Do you want me to? Oh, go on then. What have we done? Yeah, I mean it's probably a little bit kind of hand painted in, like that kind of thing. BA5. These are quite good, just little watercolour pencils, which work well for this kind of a. I'll stop there actually. That's fine. Maybe a little bit of dark there. Perhaps there's a few more kind of chains and things, aren't there? Maybe they're kind of just all locked up. Da-da-da.
C'est fini?
Do you know? I think we are.
C'est terminé?
Do we have to sort of sit and talk about it now? What? Just sit and talk about it. So yeah, today's Payne from the Costa Brava. But actually no,
I think your students will probably be quite glad to go
they'll
home
probably be
early.
quite good. Yeah, they'll probably say definitely. So yeah, let's just recap. This was a little boaty scene set on the Costa Brava. I did a drawing, accused of cheating, but I did a drawing slightly simplified, so I didn't put all the boats in. You know, don't worry about that. If there's a nice boat, I mean, we've had people doing workshops here, and they've just done a boat. That's fine too. I kind of like, what have we got? 1, 2, 3, 4. An uneven number is good, so I should have had another little one poking in here. But here we are. There's a shadow. There's a big one just off the picture with the shadow there. In fact, let me just. Yeah, let's have a little bit. The good thing about these, you have a few little wires. Let's have some bit of gravel there. Careful, don't want to come to a complete sketch. In fact, that'll stop there. But but yeah, this has been very quick, and I think I'll put this video up on YouTube in some shape or form. Maybe even a little bit of music and some annotations with details of brushes and paints that I've used. So I'd like to say thank you very much indeed for watching, and I hope you are surviving lockdown and all are well and healthy. Like I said, we won't be doing any more of these on the Wednesday. We are going to be
We might do the occasional one, but it's not going to be...
You'll get plenty of warning, but we are going to be doing more YouTube channel stuff, so do go to YouTube and do you want to clear the picture time? Or wherever you just sort of simply going across, there's all this thing lost it. So it is, we're also of course doing the Zoom lessons now. We're starting one on French time Thursday afternoon and Friday morning, so it's Western and Eastern Hemisphere. We're doing like a 10-week course. You're more than welcome
Which
to,
you can drop into. It doesn't
Absolutely,
have to
yeah.
be done as a course, does it?
It's
It's just
course,
that you...
and we are doing a whole range of techniques and subjects which help you to improve your painting. If you want to know more, drop me a line and I'll send you some details about that. And otherwise, anything else, Tom? I think that's probably it.
No, I think that's it. Cindy Lee Bass has said, hi guys, and Nikki Chell said her shadows were a disaster, she gave up.
Oh, I'm going to be doing a shadows Zoom lesson, so watch out for that. It can make it or break it, yes, like you said, shadows, yes, people wake up screaming about shadows.
We've had a lot of thank yous,
Yeah,
and
great. No, I hope you've all enjoyed these.
thank you for everybody's support.
Great, absolutely. Thank you for all your support, and do kind of subscribe to websites and subscribe to YouTube channels, because that will keep you informed as to our wanderings around the area. And we look forward to catching up again soon. Okay, cheers for now. Bye bye.
Bye.